Imagine one day you wake up and realize all you've built in life, from prestige assets to relationships, disappear in the blink of an eye. How your eyes will react. You will be angry, desperate anger, or trying to find a way to vent. Fault for the situation. This is not a sentence, a fantasy story. That is the event that happened to Zeno, a wealthy merchant. In Cusan 300 BC, his cargo boat sank. Off the coast he went from a man to a prosperity is empty-handed overnight. But instead of whining or complaining, Zeno turned this loss into the beginning of one of the powerful philosophies and photos. Enjoy the most Stoic history. This philosophy, not just for people like Zeno or the ancient philosophers, it was for all, even those of us who are facing daily challenges in the family, work and social suspension. If you've ever feeling stuck, disoriented, or worried, afraid of the future, I am sure that Ecclesiastes can be the guiding light for you. Now ask yourself if you really control your life or you are letting the external factors. If you feel like it's time, regain control. See all this video and the next comments will take you on a journey of philosophy. The great family lived and practiced Stoicism. To understand why this philosophy is not only survived for centuries but also became the art of living sustainably in the world today. Prepare yourself, by what you're about to know will change the way you see yourself and the world forever. Forever sincerely greet you and your friends. At first glance, it seems to be a tuber map written in the language of ancient but practical philosophers. It's a powerful tool for you controlling life now. It is not at all far-fetched or vague. On the contrary, is the way you reclaiming power from the world and put it in his own hands. Strikingly divides everything into two types: what you control and what you have no control over. What you controllable is only encapsulated in the think about your own emotions and actions. Everything else is different from other people's opinions, other people's affairs. Even the weather or the results of the efforts are all out of your reach. This sounds like harsh, but this is the key. Unleash when you stop fighting with what is not in your control. Will free themselves from anxiety, reflections and pressure. Unnecessary think statue. You're presenting an idea with other people. You say very well to heat, but they don't even agree. She also ridiculed the first reaction of what are you upset or angry. Philosophical Stoic will teach you an approach completely different. Instead of letting emotions tell yourself how to react, within my control. The only thing, the most I can control is the way I rebel and maintain their values here. Not to ignore everything, but to focus energy on what's real. The importance is the improvement of the. But you might be wondering if this has turned me into an insensitive person. Just know how to stand still and endure. Answer: words are not Stoic. Do not teach back. So it paralyzes emotions that teach you to be in control. Instead of letting emotions like fear, anger or sadness takes control of your life, will learn to use them as works. Fear will motivate you to prepare well. Back over anger, if controlled, will help you realize the limits you need to be. Stoic setting does not suppress colds. Shovel to get them back in place. Serving you doesn't dominate you more than that. The Stoic philosophy will teach you real practice and exercise full of visualization power. Negative. It sounds weird, but let's try to think of the worst that can happen. Out in a confidential situation, failing a project, or even losing it. A loved one who is not. So that you become pessimistic and let you be standard. Are psychologically and appreciate more than what are there when you have imagined before the drama. The worst thing that happens in real life will no longer make you unbalanced. The ideas of Stoic philosophy are not. It's just that in theory they are invitations. You enter a new way of life. Think to a life where you no longer have obsessed with other people's judgments. No more insomnia because of lying down, out of control, and no longer feeling hollow when things aren't going out according to the plan. You live instead. Proactively focus on value. Really, what made me Stoic became popular and powerful too. Even the most powerful, the most oppressed people are all find salvation in which. Let's begin with Epictetus, a former slave, thought as if imprisoned both physically and spirit, but instead he overcame by mastering our minds. No one can make you suffer except when you allow it. With Epictetus, true freedom doesn't come from breaking, skewering the material chain, from escaping the skewers in his own mind. Is living proof of Stoic philosophy. In any circumstance you have control over the thoughts and attitudes of me. Next, think about Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who used to standing on the top of power, but live as a humble student of Stoics in his book of thoughts. That your life is shaped by the quality of your thoughts. Please keep your thoughts high. Ordinary. Even if the world around you is chaos, imagine even in the face of war, plague and betrayal, still holding his mind by. Apply the principles of Stoic. Marcus is proof that the greatest power, not in controlling others, but in controlling oneself and not being able to forget. Seneca, a statesman and writer who used the Stoic philosophy to face with political instability and personal life. Seneca once said we suffer not because of what that happens by the way we perceive it. This quote is more than just a lesson. Philosophy that is a life strategy. When you lose, be in a job or get fired in a relationship, remember that the feeling of suffering is just the way you choose to. Reaction changes perspective and you will noticeable change in experience. The most important thing about the period is equality, and this philosophy is not the same as many quadratic systems, otherwise limited by status or austere education is open to all. The main man Epictetus, a slave, preached, teach the most powerful people. Marcus, an emperor, wrote down the deepest stream of reflection while at the top. High fame. Main Seneca, one person. Wealth talks about gradual simplicity and cherishing important little things. This philosophy, I don't care who you are, I just care. Are you willing to take control of your life or not? But what makes it difficult? Become a philosophy that timeless is the practice of followers. The Stoic school doesn't just say they do. They live by the principles they believe in. Thought that regardless of the harsh circumstances, and it was this that inspired to millions of people across generations that you can also become the owner of my life, regardless of the starting point of what are you now. Wonder if a slave tears can find freedom in the mind. An emperor who can maintain humility between power and a statesman can find peace in the midst of chaos. What you can do with the engraving philosophy. We will dive into how to apply these principles into daily life. Now, to not only overcome difficulties but also turning adversity into a surface for. Be ready. By what you're about to learn will change the way you look. Get yourself forever. Practical application of Stoic philosophy. Stoic philosophy, built by Zeno, not only principles and thoughts that the truth, the actual application that has made it a guideline for philosophical life. Stoics begin with a single principle, simple but revolutionary as all. Everything that originates in your mind. Try to imagine you're facing a day full of intense work pressure, negative news and a strained relationship. Straight. What makes you feel pressure? The thoughts in your head, not the Stoic events themselves. Teach that your feelings don't come out from the things that happened, from the way you interpreting them. This is a powerful tool. When you realize that you are the one who decides, determine the meaning of everything you no longer have, is a victim of the situation you become, to be the true creator of the. But this is not only a reason theory. Consider a Stoic exercise. Well-known division of control. In some situations, instead of feeling hurt or angry, ask yourself, what is in my control? Please focus on improving the plan. Learn from the anti-society and see this as an opportunity to develop. Don't let your emotions get dragged in things that are out of your reach. You can control just the action, and my attitude of practicing this. Often you will realize that big worries and frustrations in life, just illusions you create yourself. Other exercises to help you build your abilities. Facing adversity is unpleasant. If you lose an investment, big or a worthwhile opportunity, to remember. Negative visualization exercises. When you're standard preempted for the worst case scenarios, you will easily face the reality that without losing the balance you can try. Live a day without using your phone. Eat anti-meals or sleep on floors. Why do you have to make it hard for yourself? Because you'll realize that you think, I can't live without it. It's just, habits are not the need for this. Not only helps you appreciate what I have it, but I also strengthen my ability, adapting to all circumstances. But whether this means that you have to give up all, even to live austerely, without a strict philosophy. KY does not teach you to give up the world, but rather, master it. You don't need to live in poverty to learn to let go of subordination, belong to material things instead. Value what you have without letting them go. Dominating you. Seneca, a rich person. But what kind of life did you say you didn't need to give up? Wealth, just don't let it go control you. This is true freedom. The philosophy of austerity also brings a learn reality for each relationship when face the conflict instead of blaming or trying. Change others. Come back to the question, what can I control? What you can do is change your way, perception and reaction. Imagine you're arguing with a loved one, and they say something that hurts you. Instead of being angry, ask yourself what you said really affects my values, or just a reflection of their thoughts. When you learn to separate your values from other people's opinions, you will not. Is it still easy to be hurt? Just philosophy. It is a way of life. Next we'll dive deeper into lessons from intrinsic values, where happiness and power really don't come from the outside but from who you are. Be prepared, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at life and themselves forever, in nature and human mind. In Stoics, if there is one thing that Stoic philosophy wants to engrave deep in your mind, that's value. Your real isn't in the things you own, it in the person you choose be. But let's be honest with us, is living in a world where value individuals are often deprived by assets, reputation or recognition from people. Have you ever wondered if all those disappear in a moment? Engraving what you have left. Philosophy engraving, teaching that true happiness does not come from external factors because they always in danger of disappearing. Think about the fact that you post a passionate article on social networks but did not receive care as expected. This does not reduce your value by the reaction of others outside the control of you. Focus on the message you want conveying, because that really brings. It means that money can be lost, will have to be open, and fame is just fleeting but something that no one can taking away from you. Is intrinsic value. Honesty, courage, wisdom and self-control. These are the things that do be your true self and be the origin of true freedom. Imagine you have just experienced a major failure, loss of job, breakdown in the relationship, or even betrayed by friends. Trust most what will keep you standing. If you rely on external things to determine your value, you will feel found broken. But if you have built a solid foundation from within, you will not only stand firm but also use these failures are like the surface to growing up. This is not a reason. Let's look at the person who overcomes the greatest adversity. Historically, they didn't do it thanks to money or power, thanks to power. Introspective. Ask the question, I really need what to live a meaningful life? Answer. Words are often not in luxurious things, but in simple values of gratitude, calmness and the ability to love one sincerely. Try to look back at how many times do you have your current life? You have your peace to follow. How much to chase external targets? Times you feel empty even if achieve what he desires to be stoic for. You have a tool to break this loop. Instead of seeking recognition from people, focus on living right with its value. A practical exercise, which the Stoic proposes, is the practice of the heart. Be grateful every day. Take a few minutes to self-help. Ask what in your current life I really appreciate. That maybe it's the power, healthy, a reliable companion, or even just the ability to inhale, breathe freely. When you focus on things you already have, you will realize that happiness is not a destination, but a destination. How you feel in the present day. The other thing that this philosophy emphasizes is that let go of expectations. Don't put your happiness in you get into the hands of things that you don't check. Think about someone who is trying to achieve advancement in them. Their work is only the result. In the end, it depends on the decision of others. If they leave the whole value themselves associated with that outcome, they will falling into a sense of frustration if everything doesn't go as intended. But if they focus on self-improvement, learning from the process, they will always feel I'm making progress regardless of the results. The best thing that KY brings is freedom from the burdens caused by we ourselves create. Imagine you are facing what's unfair. Remember that the words saying that it is just their perspective is not determined, meaning who your true freedom comes from. You own how you react to you. No need to live to be satisfied. Others you don't need to prove value through material things or recognition of what you really need is a solid mind, a heart that knows how to love, and a commitment to live true to. So the question is for you are willing to give up the virtual to find true value in oneself. Has no intrinsic value and freedom from external ties. Think of someone who works hard all year just to buy a new car, with the belief that it will bring happiness, but after only a few months of excitement, the car is only one way, convenient to move, and he felt. Anti-hollow austerity teaches that things, material such as the car that does not actually carry long-term value of sustainable happiness, can only be found when we invest into the value within the qualities, such as kindness, integrity and ability, mastering emotions. But how to? Living on intrinsic value in a way. Simply start by living. As simple as Seneca used to write and learn how to. Living with less makes space in your life for things really important. Take a week to minimize unnecessary needs. You can try a no-spend day, or just eat simple meals instead of. Look for dishes that put red. This not only help you realize that you need little to be happy, but also teaches you to appreciate the little things. Children, in the life of intrinsic values also lies in the ability to hold the mind regardless of what circumstances. Suppose you work hard, only but not promoted as expected. Life, if you put your value on the recognition from others, will be easy for you, falling into a feeling of frustration. But if you evaluate yourself based on effort and personal progress, you will realize that the not being promoted is not a loss. Defeated is merely a side result. In addition to not changing the real value, your philosophy of austerity also teaches that intrinsic value is something that cannot be taken, going regardless of the harsh circumstances. Where's the example during the period of captivity? 27 years of Nelson Mandela not lost my dignity or steadfastness, in which he used the time to train the mind and maintain faith to noble values such as justice and hope. This is the power of price, intrinsic to a source of energy that is not always help people overcome everything. Adversity. Stop for a moment and self-help. Ask if you're being controlled by these expectations of others. Is not this is a? The question seems simple, but there is power to change the way you live. The austere philosophy teaches that happiness does not come from recognition or praise of others from their own ability. Define self-worth. But whether can we really understand and apply this lesson in the modern world is full of competition and social pressure. Let's take a picture. You're trying to prove yourself at work, not because you love like that job, because you want to get to be promoted, to be recognized. The day you work forgets yourself, but still not achieving the recognition you expect. You get frustrated and wonder if you've done something wrong. What is this? Is the trap of expectations from outside, a loop that makes you pass self-worth in the hands of others. The strict philosophy helps you break the circle by reminding them not to be. Your blessings are manipulated by things is outside the control range of Seneca, one of the great KKY engravers, who wrote, "A happy person is a person who is self-sufficient with." This doesn't mean you have to living in isolation or without recognition. It means that you should put your focus on acting on real value, not to please others. For example, if you are doing a project, important sentences instead of taking time off. Lou, the boss has, like this wonder I have, are doing the best of their ability. My approach is not only helps you relieve pressure, but also carries a real sense of satisfaction. But how to get rid of the obsession with social expectations? A simple exercise, but the effective Stoic is from observing the senses. Every time you feel frustrated or be upset by other people's opinions, stop and wonder why this affects me, whether it really changed my human value. When you realize that recognition from other is only a small part, that is not the whole story, you will find yourself more dependent on it. Austerity is also recommended. Encourages you to look beyond small expectations, to focus on the bigger picture of life. Wonder if this will remain important in 5 years without a word. Refusing to be criticized once or even a small failure has actually diminished your value in your own eyes. The answer, if you're honest with yourself, always be worthless. You don't lie. In those moments that lie in your way, face and learn from them. Practice carving also helps you realize that self-esteem, because it really doesn't lie in receiving everyone's consent, lies in the ability to decide your own path. Once you accept that not everyone will understand or agree with you, you will feel relieved that Keiichi didn't teach you indifference to people who teach you to set yourself limits to their influence on your life. Imagine a life where you no longer have to worry about what others think of where you are, can live true to their values, not afraid of being judged. It is what we all want. Stoic philosophy gives tool to you do it not by word, abandoning the world by mastering body in that world. one of the biggest challenge in life. It is not only about facing the main, but also in the way we connect with people around the Stoic philosophy. In addition to emphasizing internal control, it also brings a profound lesson about how to maintain relationships, a balance between caring for people without letting them control their minds. This sounds contradictory, but, in fact, it is the key to building lasting and meaningful relationships. We are all part of the copper is bigger, but this is not means you have to lose yourself in relationships with others when you placing too high expectations on a person, even friends, colleagues or lovers. Love giving control over your happiness. I let them imagine you feel hurt by a person's words. Instead of being angry, say to yourself that their reactions often reflect feelings and their own state, not must be worth your value. But what happens when they don't meet that expectation? You feel betrayed, disappointed, and sometimes it's anger and reminding that no one can hurt you unless you allow that. Think about a familiar situation of a friend promises or doesn't treat you like how you expect. The first reaction of you may be angry or distressed. But instead of being immersed in feelings, apply the lessons of Stoics. Whether their actions really do change my value is not good, just a reflection of themselves. When you learn how to separate self-worth, the actions of others, you will see lightly. This doesn't mean you ignore or tolerate that. You choose how to react calmly and brightly. Throughout more than one of the practical exercises that Stoic proposes is to observe the role of your relationship. Ask me, are you trying to control others? Not good that I am simply doing well. His role Marcus Aurelius used to be, right, do your part well, don't caring about other people's work. This is not indifference, but reminder that you just need to focus on what you can do best, instead of trying to control what lies out of reach. But austerity is not only stop at facing them in the relationship, it is also recommended encourage you to build a community based on compassion and justice. Fundamentalists believe that we all are citizens of the world, of a larger system. They oppose all forms of discrimination and calling for respect each other regardless of status or circumstances. What does this mean in modern world? It means you don't judge a person based solely on their actions or mistakes. That should try to understand the context and motivation behind this. Not only makes termites your relationship becomes deeper, that also helps you build peace in the soul itself. She also emphasized that compassion, not weakness but expression. Show the highest of your strength when you can forgive the mistakes of others, not because they deserve it, but because of you. Deserves to be freed from resentment, angry that you're really in control of yourself. Epictetus once said, don't judge others because of their mistakes. Ask yourself how much I have. Now do the same thing. This question not only calms anger but also build empathy. So how to put this philosophy into practice? Let's start with the closest relationships in your life. When conflicts occur, ask yourself what I'm expecting from them. Is that vision realistic, and do I can choose a different way of reacting? When you practice this approach, you will see that many problems are inherently as big as you think. You can't just keep calmness but also spreading it to the people around. Build a community cohesive and stronger than the core and moral values of Stoic. Stoic philosophy emphasizes on the four core virtues of courageous wisdom, moderation and fairness. This is not only moral principles that summon ideas, is the foundation for people to live a full life, and the meaning of virtues is designed to help us face all challenges in life responsibly, voluntarily and fully. Humanities and wisdom teach the table not only to receive the incident through a personal lens, that also understand and respect differences in a culturally diverse and intellectual perspective. Allows the dialogue table instead of arguing, seeking the truth instead, because it only protects the brave self, not alone. It is purely about overcoming fear, but also daring stand up for the right thing even when that is not self-serving. Moderation helps you balance your needs, personal and social responsibility, to stay away from the temptation of an over-consuming lifestyle. Fairness encourages you to take action for the common interest, recognizes that people all deserve opportunities and benefits such as these virtues are not only the independence but also tightly linked together to create a price system. Comprehensive treatment of wisdom leads courage. to take the right actions. Sensory aids in moderation to maintain balance, even in adversity, and in combination with fairness to ensure that our actions do not only good for yourself but also beneficial, useful for the community of the philosophy of the end, not by promise but by a reminder you're the one who decides the meaning and value of my life. The world may be full of chaos, but calm is never out of reach. Your hands by mastering your mind. Control emotions and focus on what it really matters. You don't just live better but also become a guiding light. The way for the people around you to be stoic does not require you to change the world. It teaches you how to live in harmony with it. Act with courage to face adversity with wisdom and always direction to justice and compassion in the end. The most important thing is not these. What you achieve is how you live in every moment, so you're available, ready to receive lessons from philosophy, to not only own your life, but also to spread that meaning to the others. Remember this journey to catch from a small change in mind, and every step is a step closer to true freedom. Now you have it all. Even the necessary tools are only a matter of start. If you learn anything from this video, please like to subscribe to the channel and do notification bells so you don't miss the next video. Don't forget, share videos to loved ones. Wishing you a lot of health,